Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jeremy James Whitaker. I am here today to talk to you about my new song called Weathering, which is out now on all platforms. If you're interested in taking a look, after you watch this video and you think, hey, I would like to support it and stream it, I'll leave a link down in the description below. But yeah, I would love to just kind of jump in to not the project file necessarily, but some bounce down groupings of the stems, some buses of some specific sections, and just kind of explain how I created the song. Now, we're in Ableton right now, and I have the tempo set to 130 BPM, which is the tempo that the song is in. And if you haven't gotten a chance to listen to it, I'll say this is a very bright, high-end, heavy song. And I hope you enjoy this. I think it's going to be really fun to listen to. So I think it makes the most sense when I'm talking about this song to talk first about the vocals. I think there's something really special in the vocal track here, that it's really loud, it's really rambunctious, it's pretty unapologetic about how bright it is. And one of the things that I use to get the sound of this is something that I've called for a long time called the reverb trick, which is basically where you take a reverb all the way down on the decay, and then you turn the dry wet all the way up, so it sounds a little bit more like a stereo signal that you're kind of in the room with, rather than a recorded mic line that sits right here. And what that does is also create a little bit of emphasis on the top end, which I also help emphasize with a multi-band compressor or something like that. But let's just give a little bit of a listen to this vocal, as well as this beautiful sneeze that I have and a cough that I have right at the beginning here. Now, where were we?
Same body, different weather, the cold finds the old places first.
Ooh, burr, so cold. I forgot.
The eggs show up invited, moving through familiar ground.
Here comes the sneeze.
I don't reach for explanations, I just slow myself right down.
So a lot of ad-libs in the middle of the vocal, and it's really funny to hear it in its own seclusion. Let's move to the chorus here.
Same body, different weather, I carry what I earned. Not every mark is damaged, some lessons that I learned. Still breathing through the changes, still standing where I land. Same body, different weather, learning who I am.
Very side-chained vocal, but it gets a lot of energy. It was a lot of takes to try to get this all in one. I think I probably took 50 takes of this hook. Right after the chorus right here, there is this pretty little vocal, which I'll play right here. I love this vocal. It's pitched up an octave, and then it has a 4/minth at about 15% going above, just to give it a little bit more of that like almost chipmunky, high pitched sound. Now that we've taken a little bit of a listen at the vocals, let's actually hear a little bit of the melodics that are happening underneath it. This is the synths track, and what you'll notice right here is a lot of regimented rhythmic signals where there's a lot of space in between. That's on purpose, and once you hear the full track later, I'll show you why. So this is the primary sample in the song, and so what this is actually is a sample from Splice, and I'll tag in the description what pack it's from, that I took into a plugin I use all the time called Cycles, just to give a little bit of a rhythmic sampling loop to it, and then also messed with a bit of the pitch. Also took certain pieces of the sample to smash them together. Oh, my cat's here. Hey, Beans. Sorry, I don't know if you can see this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. It's just a cat and my Bible just sitting right there. That's so funny. This sample is pretty much throughout constantly the song. Let me play some of the other layers here. Super cool with the sidechain. And then there's this beautiful little sparkle chop right here. I call it sparkle chop. It's basically another homemade home bake sample that was put into actually Serum 2's new sampling unit. Just to give some really cool little high-end texture. So those two things combined. Super rich, pretty full sound. A lot of mid-heavy sounds that when combined with some of the bass, which we'll look at a little bit later, actually I'm going to switch this, we'll look at it next, makes it feel really full. I love the sparkle chalk because it adds a lot of that kind of high-end sparkly texture that I just adore in my own songs, and I think they're really beautiful. Later on we use this sparkle chop with a filter. With less attack on it, or less decay rather, just to give it a little bit of a longer sustain. In the build of the song, you can hear everything sustained and everything attacked. And so speaking of the bass, let's look at the bass real quick. So you can kind of hear two layers. You can hear the sub layer, and then you can hear this kind of mid bass layer that's giving a little bit more of like a portamento saw that's kind of sliding around a little bit. Later on the song in the drop sections, you can actually hear the mid bass filter, or the frequencies that it's letting through, kind of release a little bit more and release some of those high textures, which you can hear right here. Super nice, you know, in context to what it's doing, especially later in the song. It sits really well with the mix. Lots of motion, lots of movement in the bass. When you pair it with something like the drums, which we're going to look at next, it actually feels really nice. So I went with a relatively house-styled drum kit for this song, and you can hear that right here, this kind of... classic kind of house hats. Later on in the first verse, you can hear this kind of love the simplicity of it. Love the sound of the kit. It leaves space open, a little bit of context just with the rest of the instruments. So we're being a little bit more uniform with how we're using space in the instruments, and then providing just a solid root backbeat in the background of the song. Now, when we get to the hook sections, the chorus sections, you can really hear the full kind of house beat effect kind of come into play right here. Really grooves. There's a few layers of just some like effects that are pulled from Splice and a few other things there, but that's really, it's a very simple drum track in that regard. Last thing I want to talk about real quick is I did add a little bit of a wind texture underneath this, and I like to do this in some of my songs. It kind of gives a little bit of character to what's happening within the song. You can hear it be sidechained as well. Adds a little bit more of that, you know, top end sparkle that I was talking about on the sparkle chop. But then I just feel like it kind of makes some of the beats come more alive. Let's see if you can hear it in this second verse right here. Can you hear that kind of little background, little set of wind in the back? But yeah, when you take all of those pieces and put them together, you get this. One of my favorite parts of this song is when it kind of locks into this little more open groove at the very end. Big sneeze. Gotta love it. Anyways, guys, that's my song Weathering. Feel free to go look at it now on all streaming platforms. There are a few things that I left out, like a big 909 drum snare roll and some of like the little blips and bloops that are still in the song. But I just thought I'd give you a little taste of some of my favorite sounds. Anyways, guys, check out the song. Appreciate you guys for hanging in there, listening to me yap on and on about this track, and hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys support it, and I can't wait to talk about more songs real close in the future with you. All right, see ya.